And welcome back to the hottest marriage show, completing our second season. This is our last season before our new season.
Our last episode before the new season?
Yeah, our last episode. Yeah, that's what I meant. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we will hit 15 and be into our 16th season, the next episode. But happy early anniversary to you.
Wow. Happy early anniversary to you too.
Yeah. I don't know if you recall, but we started recording like when I got back in like September, and we released in November, but we stopped the season we ended the season at our anniversary and started a new one. What have you seen? What kind of differences have you seen from the beginning to this point, completing this season? What kind of growth from between us?
We definitely can record something and not have beef afterward. There were in the beginning, there'll be some stuff that, man, I know that there's an episode that will never air because we were beefing in the daggum episode. Like the fight started in the episode. And sometimes, you disagree, and as you all may know, John hates to agree to disagree. And so we used to struggle sometimes with our conversations and afterward, the aftermath of, when you said this, it was kind of making me feel like this or whatever. Now it doesn't feel like that. We get on, have a conversation, we get off and we do whatever. It's just growth.
It is.
Yeah. So I guess in just being able to talk to people and resolve conflict. And to me, a lot of the times, if I don't feel like it's going to kill us, like, who cares? And like, it doesn't matter, but it doesn't really go well with you to do that. Like, I guess that's my part of agree to disagree, but we haven't really had those types of things as we've gotten later on in these episodes. So
yeah, I think that because I've learned, I still believe agree to disagree means there's a misunderstanding, and like so I learned to ask questions to make sure I'm understanding it the way that you're looking at it. Because if I don't, then I'm going to have to not, because you have a problem with me stop saying the same thing over and over.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, I'm not, in my head it doesn't sound like that. But I've learned to say certain things in a different way to get sometimes, and to me, I feel like I can get more information out of you. So it's made it a lot easier. So that's dope. Like I thought about, we really were arguing on some real and I remember how I felt then too. I was like now my energy is so different from then. And then I was like, look, I'm trying my best in my head. Like, I don't want us to feel like this, but I'm still like, I can't bow down. But I was like, I got to eventually bow down. Now it's like, we don't even get there. So it's like, and if we get there, it's like we have this routine of what it takes. And then, so to me, I feel like to see where we were then, even before then, before we started shooting, we've grown so much. And I was just thinking, just imagine what it's going to look like in the next, however many episodes we do. But overall, just in life, the way that I've gotten to know you has been beautiful, because I don't think I knew I know I didn't know what it really took for this relationship to be successful. And I feel like I know what it takes now. And I work on it every day, on purpose. For real.
It's like on purpose, I do that junk.
Yeah. So to me, I feel like I can't believe I'm here. I was just like, if you keep working on something, it'll get better. And it has.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm so
look at that.
15 years.
It took 15 years.
No, it was less than 15 years, because the last 2 or 3 years for sure, I've been focused on where I am. I just have a better routine, and I know how to be more I guess, active, present in situations than I was. Oh man, remember I used to ask you like, what should I do? Like,
my God, yeah. I'm glad that part is we've grown past that part.
Yeah, I mean, there's still parts that I want to improve, but at least I know that if you keep working on something, it'll get better. And like, just thinking about how just our kids have grown since our parenting. They're a lot more, I guess, I don't want to say talkative, but they express themselves a little more and help us parent them better. So, like, it's been a wonderful experience doing this with you.
No, thank you. Same.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, 15 years, right? What does 30 years look like? Like, are we like great grandkids? I mean, do we have great grandkids?
Oh my God, 30? Wait, grandkids. Oh no, we won't. Not yet. Please.
Well, I'm just saying, like,
okay.
I just feel like, when, and this is the way that I'm viewing things, if we don't figure out how to make sure we give them this nothing is privilege type mindset, that they're going to pass that on and we're going to get crippled at some point to slow it down, because I just don't know what part of my childhood they should really have.
Well, I want them to know every part of my childhood, but I want them to.
Have you ever cried because somebody raised their voice at you?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so to me, I feel like they need to know what that is.
Oh, they do.
I know, but they need to know that it should never make you want to cry.
Yeah, and I would like to, as time goes on, continue to go over our experiences so they get the lessons from that without having to go through it.
Yeah, because I feel like at some point somebody's going to raise their voice at them in a way where it's going to be aggressive, and they're going to be like, what do I do? And then it's just like, no, that thick layer of
that layer all over your eye. You be like, it's about to drop.
He's just like, you know what?
Let me open my eyes wider. Hopefully it'll just stay in there.
And I don't want them to feel that way, because I'm like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Is that training wheel type parenting, or is that like, they got to go through it?
I don't think they have to go through it. I would like to tell them about our childhood so that they could see that that's what it was. But now when we've processed it, this is what it really was. So it wasn't that deep. Just like Dave was talking about that math problem she was on, and she just couldn't understand. And she was like, I was almost in tears. And it's like, you should never get to that point. Like, don't let an assignment, break you down. There's nothing that important in that classroom that you should get to the point where emotionally you feel this way or that way. And I understand. What's so crazy is I know what it's like to be frustrated about something, even in school, and be almost to tears. But
really,
yeah.
What is that like? I don't know what that means.
Because it's like, why can't I get this? Especially if people around me are understanding it. And then how there's certain teachers that they think that they're explaining to you a different way, and they're just explaining to you the same way, and it's just not clicking. And I didn't have like stress about I have to get this certain grade in my house. Like, you shouldn't get no C. That was my parents' warning to us. But I've definitely been frustrated to that level. And looking at the grand scheme of things, it's one problem, one assignment in my entire world. My life is going to be filled with things far more.
But as a kid, if you already know that this is only one problem, aren't you going to like not go as hard in other situations?
No, I don't think so. Well, and this is the other thing. I'm talking about in parenting our kids.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So with them, I know that they give 110%. And if you're giving everything you have and you're not getting it, I don't want you so frustrated about it that you cry. I want you to understand that, man, this is really hard.
Yeah.
And it might be one of those things that I just don't really quite get. But that's okay. I mean, because I get everything else.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But if they don't cry on that, do you think it's healthy to cry?
I do.
So when are they going to be able to cry?
I think it's healthy to cry. I always think it's healthy to cry and to let frustrations out, because sometimes it's not sadness. Sometimes it's frustration. I get it. But it wasn't that I don't want you to cry. It's that I don't want you to feel like there's anything that should stress you to that level. And I think that part of that, I know I've said this a million times, it's okay to be upset, but then just stop and you got to think your way through it. You got to, okay, so what am I going to do next? Okay, if I don't get this problem, then I can ask the teacher, can you just show me, this is how far I get, and then I'm stuck here. I need help from here down, like problem solve after. And I think that that's one of the things that I want them to do. I feel like in the conversation, she was sitting there for a long time
because she didn't know what to
herself.
do. Yeah.
Yes. And so to me, I don't ever want y'all to feel like you're stressed like that. Then
so we need to tell them what to do when they get in situations like that.
Yeah. So then you say, okay, well, here's where the problem is, and this is where I'm stuck. And then you go and you ask for help there. And then you just keep saying, why? I remember my Kyle, he had, I think it was elementary school, he had a teacher. He could not understand anything this teacher was talking about. And my mom said, you just tell her that you don't understand, and then she's going to explain it to you. So Kyle, he makes a joke about it now, but he'd be like, I don't understand. And then the teacher started explaining stuff, and then they'll get to another point. Kyle be like, but I don't understand. Like, he didn't stop saying it. And I appreciate that, because even with
you were saying he was making fun, but he was
serious. At
serious.
home he would make fun. But even with my students, when I used to teach math, I'm like, okay, so what do you know? Like, let's start with where you know, and then I'm gonna find where you don't know, and then we'll go from there. And that's my biggest thing with Day in Dallas in every problem. Okay, this is what's presented in front of you. Where are you stuck? You feel confident in this decision you made. You feel confident in this decision. So now, where is it that you're feeling insecure or uncertain? And we'll start there, because I know you feel good about what you've done here. So what's next? And with Day, she goes hard with everything. So if there's ever a math problem that puts her on her back, I want her to look at it and be like, look, I know how to do this stuff. This problem is some trash, though. I'm not going to let it take me down, but somebody going to have to explain to me how to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to cry, but you got to reset and figure your way through it.
So what do you think she should have done? Like, okay, so she gets to this problem. She either asks for help. The teacher says, I can't give you help on this one. Mm-hmm. So then she says, okay, do I know enough information? No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to have to take this one as a loss. Move to the next problem.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the type of stuff we need to get to.
Well, yeah, and I think that that's what there are certain things that in life you're not going to be able to be like, I'm going to just take this as an L, but there are a lot of things that are. Like, you're in a relationship with somebody and you be like, I can't figure this out. I love them so much, but this is just so, I'm going to have to take the L. We can't, like, if I can't figure out how to be in a good place with you, then what's the point of this relationship? Let me go.
Yeah.
If you're in a job and you really like the job, but you just can't make it in this environment because it's workplace, find the same job somewhere else. You don't have to struggle anywhere.
I guess because people don't know the options they really have.
Yeah, and I want them to know that there are going to be things in your life that it frustrates you and you can move on. Like, and sometimes that's the best thing to do is cut your losses, go to the next one, and then you just do really well on the next thing. That and I really want that to be a lesson for them.
So how do they know? Like sometimes I guess lessons are you're taught that you quit too soon. How do you know when it's too soon or if it's unhealthy?
I think that's your own decision. I remember when I was in high school and I was in this really bad relationship and my best friend was trying to tell me I was in it. And I was like, but I love him. Right. So, but when it was time for me to go, when it was time for me to go, when I was ready, when I was like, okay, I've had enough. There's nothing else I can do with this. And I walked away. I was clear. Like when I walked, I knew if I would have left when they told me, I'd have been like, but I really love him. Maybe I should try again, and maybe we could do this, and maybe. But I listened to myself, Kanika. I might have taken a few more lumps on the head because I had to wait for myself. But when I walked away, I was confident in what I was doing, and it wasn't like somebody.
But what if you'd
could
have
talk me back.
died?
Yeah, that's the other thing, and it really has to come to a point. But that was because my self-esteem wasn't unshakable. It was, and I want that to be different. I feel like Day is far more confident, and Day is much more so of a person that's like, that's not for me. I'm done, and I appreciate that.
But I think
her.
that's what's gonna be her Achilles heel too, because she won't even give people a chance to make a mistake.
But I think that that's all up for everyone else. I think that I had a friend that told me I'm the woman of a million chances, and it was to describe me and how I dealt with men. And she was like a million chances, Kanika, like, God dang, right? And it used to be that I wished that I could see and be smart enough to say that ain't for me. Okay, I'm gonna go. And one of the things I've learned from Day is that Day would rather be by herself and happy than to be tortured or to be in an uncomfortable space. And I don't necessarily think that's bad. I think that one of the things that we've been taught about dragging out relationships is based on generations of practices where women stayed, but women stayed because they couldn't have their own bank account. They couldn't own land. Like, there was a reason why these women were staying. And there was a reason why these women were telling other women, like, you need to that's a good man. You need to hold on to that. You need to this. But we're carrying these ideas of don't quit, hold on, from lessons that other women have for a whole different reason. Like, if those women lived in our time, would they have skirted up and left? Probably. But they thought to themselves, I can't do that because I can't hold land. I can't have a bank account. I can't do this. I can't do that. And so I have to stay here and I have to make it work. And then you coach the other women around you to do the same thing because you understand it's going to be much, much harder to try to figure this out there. But now we're at a point where I don't have to teach that type of fear to her. I don't want to teach that type of fear to her. I don't ever want Day to feel like, and this, I'm saying it as a relationship or anything, you are not a prisoner. You don't have to be. You're a prisoner if you choose to be. And I'm saying that not for people who are in an abusive relationship where they really are being imprisoned. I want to be clear about that because I've been in abusive relationships where I feel like I was stuck. And I wasn't. But it feels, in that moment, it's scary. And it feels like this is the only way I have to go. And sometimes people are backed in those corners. But with Day, I work hard and we work hard to teach her that there's always a way for her to get out. Like, you're not stuck. And one of the things about her and teaching her about herself is because Day has very, very little tolerance for people mistreating her, I feel like she can get out of things much faster before it gets deep and it gets scary like I did. You know, that's one of her superpowers that I wish I had, is that she can be like, this isn't for me. And then she's good. She'll be like, I'm good. And then she'll disappear. With me, I was like, let me see a little bit. It might be, but maybe I should. And Day ain't doing all that. And I appreciate her for that part. But I have family, like younger cousins, that they have my mindset. And I don't want them to have that. And I know I've talked to them on the phone and, you know, I'm like, you know, you don't have to do this. You've been doing this by yourself. Really. You know, it looks like he's been doing everything because he tells you he is. But look at all the things you do. You can do this all by yourself. And it's okay to quit. I remember my mom told me, she said, you know, I stayed with your dad because of you guys. I wanted, you know, I didn't want my kids to not have a father in the house. I didn't want this. I didn't want that. And she was trying to hold on because she thought it was going to help us. but it didn't serve her. And when she left, she was so much better for it. And we were better for it. And that's why I'm like, it's okay. I think that was my first lesson, that it was okay to quit. You don't have to keep going. You don't have to do this. You don't have to, be 10 toes down trying to hold things together yourself. You don't have to. And I think that way with friends, I'm learning just in recent months, I'm just learning that it's okay to quit a friendship. It's okay. I mean, if you don't feel like you're helping them to grow and they're not helping you to grow, and in some ways it's more hurt than help, it's okay to walk away. I don't care how many years you've been friends with them. I think it's okay to walk away from a job. I remember when we left and went to Abu Dhabi, and my dad was telling you, you're supposed to get a job and work that job and retire. And it was like, not us. Yeah. It's okay to not like something and leave. If I don't like this city, I'm leaving. If I don't like that job, I'm leaving. And people have taught you not to quit, but those are the people who keep you in the same dead-end job for forever and ever. They keep you in the same dead-end relationship for forever and ever. They keep you the same. It's okay to quit. I don't mind quitting. I don't.
I think that's the wrong word. I think you just you're deciding to go try a different route, because when you say quit, typically, they say quitters never win. I don't want people to misuse your word. Like, you just decided that wasn't the best thing for you, and you decided to do it a different way.
I can take that. Yeah.
I just, I don't want anybody to miss your message because of the usage of words.
I definitely steer away from the word failure. Quit, I'm not afraid of. However, I could definitely see that moving in a different direction. I'm okay with that too. But the message is still the same. If it doesn't serve you, it's okay to leave.
Yeah.
It's okay to stop. It's okay to find a new direction.
You can change your mind. You can.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and that's like even when I was saying, if you love your job but you hate where you are, then find that job somewhere else. That's okay too. So, everything. I think anything and everything is you have the right to change directions whenever you feel like it.
I think the reason why it's difficult for people, because people find comfort. They find a level that they're comfortable with, and they don't keep working. Mm-hmm. And when you find that comfort level, they're willing to compromise themselves just to stay where they are, because they look at doing more work is going to take away the time that they don't have.
What's something you wish you would have quit sooner, but you kept going?
I don't think I do you have something in my mind that I'm not?
Do you think that the way the feelings you held for your mom, you wish that you would have quit sooner? And
if I'd have had more information, of course I would have viewed it differently, but I don't think I was mature enough to believe it. Mm-hmm. And I tell you this, I had to experience some life for me to understand what she said then. And what's so crazy is that it was almost during that time where I experienced some life for me to realize that that was some crazy stuff. Like, I believe it now. Like, I had to go through something for me to feel like that's not far-fetched, because I would have thought like that's absurd. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, what?
Yeah.
So when it happened, that's what's so crazy. Just imagine this. My mother said, I'll tell you when you get older. Now, this was 21, so 25 come. I tell you when you get older. Now, we go all the way up to like 40.
Yeah, 40.
And
she was like,
what?
you ain't old enough yet.
Like, I had to live my life for me to realize when she told me that I could understand. And it's crazy how things happen the way that they do. But yeah.
What about the kids, do you feel like how you were building your relationships with the kids and your viewpoint on how to be that type of father, do you feel like, was that also a learning experience where you had to learn your way into that? Or is that like a mindset you felt like you should have just abandoned? You couldn't have abandoned it.
Well, that's all I had.
Yeah.
So I couldn't have abandoned something that was what I had. I didn't have something that I could go to. Mm-hmm. Like I didn't have nobody said, hey man, you need to look at it this way, or a book that said just opened up like, oh my gosh, it's so much, I could be such a better parent. So the things that you didn't like, that's what I was built of. So it's difficult to abandon something for nothing. Then now I don't even exist.
So then one more question. So what about any friendships? Were there any friendships that you're like, I should have abandoned that sooner? No. All the friendships that I ruined, all the friendships that it was me. Yeah, like people had their best intentions. Like it was because they believed in what I was talking about. Like all the friendship, every single one of them, if it didn't work out, it was because of my perspective. My will was way stronger than theirs. And that's the reason why I know like people are really nice. And like if you say something and convince it to them, they knew that I was a nice person, but they was like, well, he does this, and like I guess it can't be that bad. And I convinced people, and that's the reason why I was like, I forgive everybody who don't decide to talk to me, because I didn't have a time to be able to like really be clear and concise with them and say, hey, that's the life that I really thought I was supposed to be living. If they knew more information, it was like, but it was one of those like time opportunity would have to present itself for people to realize my heart was really there still. And that's the reason why they decided to do things that they wouldn't normally do. Yeah, so that's why I say like where I am now, it's so easy to make great decisions, because like why would I do anything to endanger this feeling that I have every day? I get to like come home and be with y'all, and we can talk about these conversations of how we can strategically put our kids in, like this is what we do for real. And then we have 2 dogs that keep us in shape, and we get to experience nature. John of these dogs, yes.
You know what I'm saying? We see like the change of the colors. Like life has slowed down to the point where we can appreciate our environment when we walk, and like we're mindful of what we put in our bodies now. Like our kids are creating healthier habits. So it's like, what can we do to give them the proper dosage of everything so that when they do leave us, we don't have to run as fast. We can feel confident, like, you know what? With the information that we did have, we did present them as closest to mastering anything that they can with the time that we were allotted. And guess what? They know that we're still there. So that whatever that we didn't do, they can find or whatnot. But yeah, like this experience, this whole thing, this last 2 years of our life, like the different changes of how we've matured into this relationship, and then even like just watching the house transform, it's like, it's fun.
Yeah, it is.
It's hands-on experience, like showing the kids, what a healthy relationship could look like if you figure out your partner's boundaries and respect them. Because everybody's boundaries are different.
Lord knows. I have like 100-meter radius around me of boundaries, and John's is like 2.
Because when people take advantage of your boundaries at a young age, you just feel like you can walk and jump on everybody. Like you think everybody's gone through it. You don't know that they were protected. They had supervision.
That's true. Like, why won't you let me be ridiculous? Oh, y'all have people who were watching y'all. Yeah. Oh, okay.
People don't be understanding.
Oh my God.
Anybody you want to give a shout out before we get out of here?
No, not today.
Well, I want to give a shout out to you. Happy anniversary.
Oh, happy anniversary. I'm sorry. Shout out to you.
Yeah, this actually comes out, I think, the day before or the day after
somewhere
our
around.
anniversary. Yeah, so we'll celebrate. Maybe you hear about it in the next episode. But I love you so much, and I want you to know the longer I have, the more you'll appreciate the person that I want to become, because you're intricate to the man I want to be. I love you.
I love you too.
Y'all make today better than yesterday. Don't worry about anything you can't control. GATA. Get after that action, or that action will get after you. Be great on purpose. Boom.